The regent lies on the ground, bloodied and defeated. He extends his good arm and drops his weapon. If only I had the breath to spend defying you. But I fear the fight has left me. So this is to be the end of my reign. Come then, I would meet these last moments with dignity. And Astradius' soldiers moves between you and Hiruddin, tearing off her helmet. I won't let you do this. Well, do this. A gasp echoes in the shadows of Barak's helmet. Amelia? Alive? But you come to the regent's defense. What is the meaning of this? Explain yourself, girl. Some of us could use an explanation. And some of us could use a stiff drink. You don't see me breaking into your home and slaughtering my way to the decanter, do you? She shakes her head. Provisions without end in the cellar, but nothing to distill. I'm not the northern warlord I once was. She winces at the very thought. Sitting out the conflict made me see this conquest from a different perspective. She looks to you with a plea in her eyes. We were wrong. Kyros led us from the right path centuries ago. We marched south to finish the Overlord's work, but... She squeezes her eyes shut. Don't use that. Don't you see that the tears are the last chance for us to make this right? Amelia. The regent's voice softens. You don't have to say anything further. You were a prisoner. What happened? Find from the regent. The regent is beaten. The keep is ours. Will you cooperate? Don't care whose daughter you are. If you will stand with the regent, then you will share his fate. You were a prisoner. What happened? This is no time for a story, she glares. Not while we have our blades pointed at each other. If any of us survives this, which I suspect isn't likely, I'll tell you everything, but right now you need to stand down and back away from the regent. Well, the only way to wrap up this edict is to end his line. The regents are beaten. The keep is ours. Will you cooperate? Never. I know the atrocities you and the rest of Tunon's ilk are capable of visiting upon us. I know what my father does to traitors and deserters. My father. Her voice catches and it takes a moment to find her words. I love my father, but it's nothing compared to the love I felt for the father of... Oh. Amelia, please be silent. Stradius looks at her with desperation. It's over. You understand? I'm dying. Save your strength for... more important things. Oh dear. If he's had a son, and the line of the regents doesn't end with him, he turns to you with the resolved expression. That would explain the weirdness earlier on. And you know that he's almost lost too much blood to maintain it. I am the last of the regents. If you mean to end the Edict of Storm, then accept my fate. One last chance, Regent. Will you end the edict yourself? End myself to end the edict? No, Fatebinder, this is not our way. You may call it uncompromising of me, but my station and my dignity demand nothing less. If you desire the end of the edict so badly, you will have to shoulder this burden. Well, I'm not really sorry about it. You forced us to fight our whole way here. But the same moment, there would be some sort of ceremony to this. Wouldn't just launch at him, blades flying awkwardly. I'm sorry, Regent. This has to happen. Nothing has to happen. That is a lesson Kyros should learn, but I doubt it ever will. Once you have a few seasons behind you, I think you'll understand that better. The Regent sighs and leans back, presenting his neck. Before you can take action, you catch Amelia begin to raise her weapon from the corner of your eye. Amelia, stop! Stradius winces, hardly possessing the energy to argue. You have to keep your promise, remember? The focused, determined air about Amelia falls to resignation. She delivers a curt nod and leaves the room, darting you a killing look on her way out. Well, I've got a funny feeling that we're going to be following you in a moment. She disappears into another room, willing to watch what you're about to, what's about to unfold. Gained wrath with all of them for that. Stratius kneels before you and presents his neck. Please, show mercy. Not for me, but... Closes his eyes and lets out a breath. Do it already. Do it, coward. Do it now! See, I don't think that's going to stop it. I don't think we're going to respond with that. We're just going to say nothing and kill him. There's not a time for one-liners. You take up a fallen sword from the floor and drive it through Stratius Herodin's heart, killing him instantly. Why did I pick up a sullied sword? I wasn't willing to use my own. Stratius' body falls to the ground, and you watch the blood pool on the floor in silence. There is a feeling of anticipation in the air, but as the seconds pass, it never materializes into anything. The surge of arcane energy and sense of relief you experience in Ascension Hall is missing. You hear the howl of the storm outside and realize the edict endures. What? Barak shakes his head. Kyros storms are only supposed to rage while the blood of the regent lives on. He scans the room with a suspicious eye. Did we miss something? Yeah, we did. From across the hall, you hear a faint cry, a baby's cry, and realization dawns on you. Oh, we've unlocked a new... disfavored wrath is now kind of peaked. Sever Ash's bond. Immunity to Ash's Aegis. Sever the bond between Graven Ash and any disfavored in the target area, preventing them from receiving the benefits of Ash's Aegis. Basically, the Aegis is... as the Archon of War, the Archon of like Archon General, if you like. He shares a certain power with the disfavored. So that when they... like, a disfavored could be mortally wounded, and Graven Ash's power would allow them to carry on fighting, and would indeed inevitably heal them. They will still die, basically, if they sustain enough damage, but Graven Ash is actively trying to protect them at all times. Unbroken, a withering touch. Striker targets with powerful negative energy, stunning them and leaving them weakened for a long duration. You took Sentinel Stand for yourself. Scarlet Chorus probably didn't like that either. We've got Faithful Promise. Shield was carried across 3 generations of stalwart regents, and was primarily associated with their war finery. Faithful Promise commemorates the vow made by Regent Hardony to never allow Stalwart to fall into enemy hands. Okay, well that's significantly better than the weapon the Barak has, I should imagine. Regent has always ruled from this throne, and Stalwart for the last 500 years. An unbroken bloodline that has survived through numerous generations. We don't need that. Right, let's have a quick check of Barak. This is better in every single way.
Will do.
Huh, look at that.
Oh, something over there that I need to look at. Blocking the doorway, Amelia regards you with eyes that brim with tears, yet ablaze with hints of her father's grim resolve. She has armoured herself in disfavoured raiment to face you down. Stay away from my daughter. You will not have her. Oh no. Oh, by the Archon's mercy, don't let this be so. Barak covers his face and howls softly. Your daughter is the Regent's heir. Now that you've killed Stratius Herodine, she is. Amelia draws herself up and glares at you. She has nothing to do with Kyros or the edict. You have no right to judge her on the basis of blood. Did you know this would prolong the edict? I imagine so. We suspected that the bloodline would implicate my baby in Kyros' eyes, but I knew nothing for certain until this moment. She shakes her head. Don't ask me to interpret the Overlord's heartless design. I have no love for this edict, if that's what you're asking. It's torn a noble realm to pieces, fractured the pillar of their culture, and ruined countless lives. She releases a heavy sigh and hardens her intense gaze. But I have a responsibility to the people of Stalwart to preserve their heritage and leadership. My father and the other Archons destroyed this nation. She and I... Amelia glances back at the crib, then quickly focuses back on you. We can help put it back together. How is this possible? My union with Stradius the Younger. Even in remembrance, Amelia doesn't shed her warlike resolve. He showed me kindness behind these walls, and taught me about Stalwart and the Tears, the culture and the heritage that made these people the pride of the realm. He died in the 3rd year of the conquest. A disfavoured spear pinned him to the ground he fought to defend, and he never rose again. The regent remained in sentinel stand for her protection. The edict was his responsibility to shoulder, not hers. She tips her head down in challenge. My daughter will not be another victim to Kyros' conquest. She has the blood of the North coursing through her veins, and no one has the right to take her life. What is one baby against the fate of Stalwart? I mean, see, this is the problem with the adjudicators, the fate binders. Is Tunon tends to... How should I put it? Tends to care for the letter of the law. Like, Tunon is not so much justice in the moral sense, but justice in the legal sense. And tends to regard the law in a very cold and logical way. Dark Summers, thank you very much for this 37 months. Putting it together. How is this possible? Well, when a man and a woman love each other. Yeah. Nevertheless, I'm not going to choose these options first, at the very least. Calm yourself, Amelia. There must be another way. Amelia still has her guard up and willing to move from the doorway. What could we possibly do about the Edict of Storms? Regent blood flows through my daughter's veins. Abdicate your line. As Regent Mother, you have the authority. You must merely say the words. Okay, so thank heavens for a high law skill. Perhaps there is a way to circumvent Kyros law. I must research the matter. Oh, quite right. Lantry licks the tip of his quill as he flips his parchment. And since the Regent Mother isn't of Stalwart and can't actually sit as Regent, that should, I hope, terminate the line. I ought not to show preference for how this part of the chronicle unfolds, but I'd rather title this chapter Legal Remedy than Infant Regicide, if given the choice. Hope reflects in her expression for the first time. Is it truly as simple as that? A clerical formality to spare an innocent life? She huffs as much in surprise as derision. If this work, I'll owe you more than I can possibly repay. Here, the edict damaged this trinket, but you might still find it useful. I, Amelia, formally abdicate my daughter's claim to the Regency of Stalwart, dissolving all ties, compacts, vassals, and holdings. We forfeit all protections and advantages given by the ancient bloodline. She pauses. Was that enough? I think we're about to find out. Be warned, if this doesn't help you, nothing can. You feel a familiar sensation. The air growing hot and electric, before suddenly erupting in overwhelming waves of energy. But before it does, you have chance to run into the middle of the room. Got to have room for this kind of thing. First, you think the force of arcane power dissipating is enough to carve the skin from your bones, a sensation you attribute to the Edict of Storms, but it cools just as quickly. How many edicts is that we've undone now? The winds buffeting the keep have abated. Outside, an eerie silence pervades the air, a stillness that hasn't visited Stalwart for a long time. Gained favour with the disfavoured and gained favour with the unbroken. Well, I don't think that's really gonna undo the damage, but at least we didn't have to kill the baby. You can hear the very symbols that brought the Edict of Storms into being. Each syllable proclaiming itself from a newfound corner of your mind. It would seem the Edict is now a part of you. Thank goodness it worked. You spared my daughter, and here I had come to expect nothing but cruelty from the servants of Kyros. I mean, to be fair, we were quite bloodthirsty getting here, but at every step I've tried to give people a choice. It's like, look, I guess we were a bit Thanos. I am inevitability. You can get out of my way, or you can be ploughed into the ground in my wake. One or the other. Amelia looks to the crib. Now we have a chance at what might never have been. A life outside these walls. Barak, I was here when those storms began. Brings me pride to feel them end. His chest swells, and some of the ingrained rust and grit flake away from his pauldrons, their absence leaving marks that remind you of epaulets. I can feel the wind subsiding. It's still foul here, but not oppressively so. Landry takes a deep breath, and then wrinkles his nose. Never thought I'd live to see so much of Kyros work undone. Casting off the shackles of this storm it feels right. There we are. Powers increased. You've ended the Edict of Storms. And once again, that was completely like a side quest, basically. Didn't need to do it. Scroll Sigil of Volleys. Ooh. Magical Lancet, which increases the number of projectiles fired from a directed force spell. Ooh. Staggering Force. Adds interrupt effect to a spell. And, actually, let me make sure that those go to the right place. Ah, pooped. Fine. And research. Drug recipe. Well, okay, I suppose. And you can research item more with access to a spy library, which I have. And we will use. But first, let me go and find those spells. Volleys. We don't want that one. Don't want that one. And Staggering Force. And anything else I think we've got. Okay. Well,
I got it.
I can now make new spells, but the main thing, edicts. Select a region to view information about the current edict. There shouldn't be one. There's no active edict in this region. Or in this one. Or in this one. Or in this one. I've absorbed all 4. Is there one over here? No, all 5. Okay. Is there any way that tells me about that, though? Bound by Blade. We've still got the primary quest to do. Disfavored. Okay, favor has lifted a little bit. I mean, fair enough. Morning, how are you doing? I'm doing very well. Thank you very much, Winged Vamp. How about yourself? Would it be possible to play this without magic? Oh, I'm certain it would be. Yeah. Now, we've got that. We've also got Sigil of Volleys. See, this is now very interesting because accent that increases the number of projectiles fired from distant impact spells. This could potentially make for an incredibly potent spell. Would have thought distant impact could have been used there. I can use it here, but apparently I can't use it on Rhyme Spike. That's an interesting one. Why not? Okay. We'll have distant volleys there. Update. And We can't have distant volleys here. That makes sense because that's not the right one. Okay. Rhyme spike comes up from the ground. That makes a lot of sense, yeah. That does make a lot of sense. Ooh, I wonder. If I used... Sigil of volleys there. Give it multiple bounces. Okay. I like it. I mean, it won't be able to bounce as far, but I think that'll be a very potent spell. Very potent indeed.
On it.
Don't mind me.
Got it.
The crib has been meticulously cleaned, while other objects in the hall have traces of dust and metallic powder on them. All right. Well, we've pretty much done all we could. Time for us to leave. Now, I would not be surprised at all if we started to get various missives, especially from our boss, Tunon. We just claimed this in our own name instead of letting the disfavored have it. Which may cause some problems, maybe. One of the things I would like to see, though, is this should be somewhere that lifts my power. I'm sure there was. That generally listed how strong the character was becoming based on the amount of edicts that that I've managed to remove. It doesn't seem there's anything there. I guess the next place for me to go then would be... Why is that there? Okay. Accept. Would be to head to a spire. And there we can save. Or rather we can rest at the main spire. And review everything from there on. Okay, yeah, it's all gone. And that is that, I guess. Now, we pulled up this well before.
Can't do that.
Is there anything there? Doesn't look like it, sadly. I was wondering if maybe once the edict was gone, whether we would be able to empty that out, but it doesn't seem so. Hello, Martin. How you doing, mate? With that, another edict has been brought to an end. Iron Hearth. This location is currently unavailable. Torn Strand. Hunter's Respite. Cacophony. I imagine that's what Graven Ash is set up. Graven Ash took this ancient castle during the... Yeah, that's the... disfavored. Right, we're going to spend a whole day traveling back rather than just heading on our way. Right, from here... Go ahead and pop all the way to the mountain spire, I think. Vandrin's Well. Okay. I wonder if this is going to do anything now. See a clear picture of the tears in your mind. One always hungering for more. No. There's nothing more that it wants to tell me. At least not right now. At the very least not right now. Do I have a bad... Oh, yeah, there we go. Right. Stilling the storm. Dear Fatebinder Aavak, your actions at Sentinel Stand have once again supplied the rumourmongers of the Bastard City with stories to peddle. Some seem to think that your cunning twist of legalese intended to display some great support for the people of Stalwart. That, of course, only leads to speculation about which people of Stalwart you intended to benefit. The unbridled upstarts or the corrupt old queens. Others foolishly believe you unravelled the Overlord's edict to prove that you could, as if a sliver of cleverness could bring Kyros low. As a scholar, I prefer primary sources to gossip, so allow me to ask you plainly. Why did you choose to spare the child? Interesting. Tell him to mind its own business. We're not going to do that. Not to tune on. That would be silly. It was purely political. I mean, there's no right or wrong to following the law. It's just flat out right. But it would have been right either way. That, of course, only leads to speculation about which of Stalwart you intended to benefit, the unbridled upstarts or the corrupt old queens. As a scholar, I prefer primary sources. The law commands you to slay the child. Does that make it right? Well, condemned prince, in Tunon's eyes, yes, that would make it right. That's the point. Like what I mentioned earlier is that Tunon isn't justice in the moral sense. Tunon is justice in the technical legal sense. So if the law commanded, but it didn't, bear that in mind. If the law commanded that the child be slain, that all regents have to be killed, then Tunon would regard it as the right thing to do. That the justice, that is adherence to the laws, would be to kill the child. But the law didn't say that. The law said that the line has to end, that the line of regents has to end. So by having the regent mother abdicate, justice was still done. As far as the legalities of Tunon's justice, of Kyros law, everything was above board. Everything was done correctly. The end result, the ends justify the means, in that the ends can only exist if the means were just. Does that make sense? In the kind of the sense of the justice that Tunon represents. Yeah, I think this might be the fifth. And yeah, pretty much all of them end on technicalities, absolutely. Why did you spare the child? It was purely political. Dear Fatebinder Roglas, the blood of Graven Ash, Archon of War, flows through the child's veins. It should take no scholar of history or governance to recognize the potential in protecting it. The Archon appreciates family above all else. Why would I deprive him of a grandchild born of the ruling family of Stalwart if I could do so without shirking my duty to the Overlord? I do not make a habit of discarding gifts of fortune. That sounds a little bit more conniving. The right thing to do. When faced with the choice to save the child or consign it to death, I chose to save it. That does not seem so strange a thing to me. Either decision would have fulfilled the Overlord's will. The last ruling house of Stalwart met its end in the Blade Grave. You need read nothing more into it than that. I feel that is more concise to the way that we were going. The political one sounded more Machiavellian than I intended it to. Tell him to mind his own business. You will have to look to the rumour mongers for your answers. I keep counsel on this matter only with myself. That is a lot more polite than I was expecting as well. But we're going to go with it was the right thing to do. Okay. And with that, is there anything here for us? Vendrin Guard, Wrath. Yes, you want something from me? Have you made anything for me lately? Sure did. Come right here and I'll show you. Okay. Good enough. Thank you. Right. I do need to have a quick chat with you and maybe sell some of the stuff I'm carrying. Find anything lying around I would be interested in. You know, let me show you what I have already. Oh. Womp. Not very good. Alright, let's have a rest for 8 hours. Wow, it's midday, my lord. Okay. I love the look from the spies. They're so cool. But I'm afraid, everyone. Well, that's it. That's it for the stream. It is coming up to 11 hours now. So it is time for me to wrap things up and go get a drink. Maybe even possibly I will reward myself with a snack. And then I've got to do more work. Got to get things ready to go live on my YouTube channel later on today. Okay, I checked my emails and saw Aavak was streaming and started like 11 hours ago. I was sad I'd missed it, but decided to check Twitch anyway, and he's still going. Really happy to catch a stream. Wow. Zukri, I feel so bad about the timing of that message. Wah wah. But it is time for me to wrap up the stream. I really hope you all enjoyed our return to Tyranny. We will be seeing these uploads going live over on Aavak After Hours, my VOD channel. That this series was originally being uploaded on my main channel. It's going to continue much the same way as Dragon Quest Builders and Horizon Zero Dawn did. That is, I am going to mirror the playlists across both channels, but the uploads will be going up on Aavak After Hours. But you're free to watch them wherever you want, because basically it'll point your view in the right direction, regardless which playlist you're watching from, if you end up wanting to do a bit of binge watching. But good morning, Hammersfood. When is Stonehearth? I don't know when Stonehearth happens. Soon.tm. You're more than welcome, Smart F. It was very enjoyable. Thank you for the stream. Well, I'm very happy to have been able to bring it to you. People have been asking after Tyranny for many, many months, and I've actually been really, really itching to get back to the storyline. It took us a couple of hours to really get into the flow of it, but I feel that our characters are now kind of stupidly powerful, actually. But also I'm getting a bit more comfortable in the skin of my character again and being able to make decisions as them. That I feel are reflected by their individual histories. But that is going to be it from me. I hope you've all enjoyed, and I hope I'm going to see you in the next stream, which is probably going to either be later today or perhaps tomorrow, so I can make the most of the weekend. But until then, for those of you over in VODland, I hope you enjoyed the VODs. I hope to bring you plenty more where they came from. And for those of you who are watching live right now, well, thank you very much for sticking with me these many, many hours. And if you've got a little bit more Twitch watching left in you, then hang around after we wrap up the game here, and I will find us a raid. But that is going to be it from me. So take care, everyone.